Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to another video with Brooklyn. So anyway, I'm going to jump right into the video. I want to talk about 5 signs of a narcissist, okay? 5 signs that lets you know that you are involved with a narcissistic person, okay? Now, these signs that I'm going to give you, these examples that I'm going to share with you, if you are with someone and they have some of these examples, some of these signs, that does not necessarily mean that they are narcissistic, okay? And the reason why I'm talking about narcissistic people is because me and a colleague were talking about past relationships, and we were just saying some of the things that they were doing. So we decided to look it up and find out what a narcissist is and some of their characteristics, some of their traits, and these came up among many, but I pulled out 5, okay? And again, I'm not an expert except for being in a relationship with someone like that. And so that does not mean that if you're with someone and they have some of these traits that they're narcissistic. These are some examples that can maybe give you a heads up and give you a warning, okay? So a narcissistic person has characteristics, many characteristics, okay, that are not positive. They seem to be positive, but they're not positive traits, okay? 5 that I pulled out were unanswered questions, gaslighting, stonewalling, deflecting, and projecting, okay? Now, we all know that unanswered questions, that's just simple. You do not know what's going on. Things happen and you don't have any explanation for it. Why they did what they did, why they're acting the way they're acting, why they are, withholding information, just why they having these strange behaviors. Unanswered questions on why they even exemplified these behaviors in the first place. You never get answered questions on why they did that, what they did to you, why they lied, why they accused you or accused someone else. You never get answered questions, and we all know how frustrating that can be to want to know why someone done the things they done to you. You just never get an answer. Have you ever sat back and just thought, women or men, if you were with someone, why they did you the way they did you, why they cheated on you, why they left you, why they came back, why they lied, why they wouldn't go to work, why they stole, why? You never get any answers. And then when you talk to the person, you never get any answers. It's like you're hitting a brick wall, right? Because they don't really have an answer because they're narcissistic. They are narcissists, and we were just talking about it, the frustrations of relationships and past relationships. Neither one of us are saying that we were perfect because no one's perfect. I'm sure that our exes probably pulled this up on us and said we're the same, but we're talking about our past relationships at this particular time, right? So that's the unanswered questions. You just never get any clarification. You never get any closure on anything. All they can do is say, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. But they never really give you an answer. Or if the relationship is over, you don't know why they did the things that they did. It just goes unanswered. Then you have gaslighting. Okay? Gaslighting is when someone manipulates by psychological means into questioning your own sanity. They make you feel like you're crazy. They do something, but they turn it around and make it think that you were the one that was in the wrong. Did I tell him to do so and so and so? Maybe it was me. Maybe it is me. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I did tell him to go do so and so and so. He said I did. I can't remember. It starts making you question yourself, question your own sanity, you can't even trust yourself. You can't trust your thoughts. That's gaslighting. When they make you think that you are just crazy. They play with your psychology. They play with your intellect, your mental. They put it back on you. They make you think that it was all your fault. That's gaslighting. Because now you don't know which way is up and which way is down. And we were talking about that today, how things would happen in a relationship, and by the end of the argument, you was taking blame for it when you had nothing to do with it. Well, I wouldn't have done this if you hadn't done that. You made me do it. Remember the time you said, that's why I did it. And by the time it's over, you're faulting yourself. You're the person at fault. And they got away with it. That's gaslighting. That's manipulation of your intellect. And it'll make you go crazy. It'll make you think that you're actually crazy because you can't figure out what's true and what's not. Okay? Number 3, stonewalling. It's a refusal to communicate or cooperate. You know how you get someone, you're in a situation with someone in a relationship and you can't get them to talk out anything. They quiet down, they shut down, they don't want to discuss anything. They won't cooperate with you. You go into a room to talk to them, they leave the room. You call them, they hang up the phone or they don't answer the phone. That's stonewalling. Because really and truly, they don't have an explanation. They can't tell you why they did A, B, and C. So they just shut down completely. That's very frustrating. They don't want to discuss anything on why they did what they did to you. So they just shut up completely. They don't want to cooperate. They don't want to go to counseling. They don't want to sit down and have a heart-to-heart. They don't want to do anything. They just shut you out completely. That's stonewalling. Okay? Now remember, you can have a trait or two. That does not mean you're a narcissist, and that does not mean that your spouse is narcissistic. Okay? Because a lot of times you just shut down because you're tired of arguing. These things depend on the situation that at hand. Sometimes you just shut down because you've done your last talk and you're tired of talking. But when you're messing with someone's intellect, that's manipulation. You should not do that. You should take responsibility for your actions. You know? Then you have deflecting. Okay? Deflecting. That's attempting to draw attention away from oneself and put that attention onto someone else. So you're talking about the situation that's going on, and they're going to tell you, well, remember the time you did? Remember the time your sister did? You didn't say nothing to her, but when it comes to me, you're going to say this. They don't want to talk about what they did. They don't want to talk about the situation at hand. You know, in my relationship, my ex-spouse would go 10 years back. Things that I had totally forgot. He would go dig it out. Well, remember, the reason why I did so-and-so and so is because back in 1984, you did so-and-so and so-and-so. And you said this and you said that. They want to take it off of themselves and put it on you. No responsibility is being taken. None. We, in layman's term, would call that just a childish behavior. You just childish. You don't want to take responsibility. But in the medical form, the medical field, they say that's a narcissist. They say that's a mental problem. The person has a mental problem. They don't care for no one but themselves, okay? Then you have projecting, okay? And that's you're unconsciously taking unwanted emotions or traits that you don't like about yourself and attributing them to someone else, okay? You're attributing them to someone else, things you don't like about yourself. Just say, for example, your spouse is a cheater. So what he does is, he knows he's a cheater. It's not a good trait, so he accuses you of cheating. Where you been? I know you cheating on me. You better not be cheating on me, but they're cheating. You know, I worked with a woman, and she's a woman, so it don't always have to be a relationship romantically. Everything about herself she put on me. She said I didn't like other black women, which she didn't. She caused conflict with every black woman she came in contact with. I didn't like white people. She didn't like white people. Okay? Everything that she didn't like about herself, she put it on me and had people thinking it was me. That's what you call projecting. Because you don't like your traits. So you not even really knowing that you're doing it. Well, in her case, I think she knew what she was doing. But they're trying to say unconsciously, you're accusing them. And I can see what they're saying, because it's like, you do think that they're cheating. The person thinks that they really think you're cheating, not really realizing they're falsely accusing you. But because they're doing those things, they're saying that you're doing it. And those are the signs that we were talking about, and that's why we pulled it up, and these popped up. These are the exact same examples that we were talking about. We just wasn't calling them by name, and I was married to someone like that for 11 years, and everything that I pulled up, these 5 traits and more, he had every last one of them. Even when he cried, he didn't cry tears. You would hear him sobbing, or you could look at his face and look as though he was sobbing, but there was never no tears. It's like he was void of emotion, and he put everything on everyone else. If something went wrong at work, it was everyone else's fault but his. It was, this guy didn't come to work last night. They didn't write him up. This guy played hooky tonight. They didn't write him up. But we're talking about you. You're on the verge of losing your job. Well, you didn't go to work last week, so I stayed out this week, deflecting and projecting. Oh, I told you I wasn't going to work. I told you 2 weeks ago. Remember, I came in here and I woke you up and I told you that next week I was going to take off because I had a dentist appointment. You don't remember that? Well, I told you. So you thinking, maybe they did. Got you thinking, well, maybe they really did tell me that. These are signs of a narcissistic person, according to medical examiners, okay? According to the medical professionals. I would call it someone who just don't give a damn. And they are just irresponsible and childish. That's what we would call it in the layman's term. But they are actually saying that this is a mental case. This person has a mental problem, because the average person does not do these things. So we were talking about that, and we were just like, so we were married to people who were mentally disturbed, basically. Is that what it's saying? And when you think about it, people like that are dangerous, because at the end of the day, if they can convince others that is you, or convince you that is others, it can put you in a bad situation. People would think that you are crazy. The woman that I worked with, she had people disliking me for things that was actually her characteristic. She said I didn't do my job. She wasn't doing her job. She said I made a lot of errors on my job, and she was making the errors. I didn't like other black women. She didn't like black women. I didn't like white people. She didn't like white people. Everything that was on her, she put on me. People found out because it wasn't true. The truth always comes to light, but that's what they do. That's what they do. And that's a dangerous person, because it can put you in a situation where people will hate you, people will attack you, people will spread rumors and cause, mayhem in your life. And that's what was going on in my marriage situation, with the things that he was doing according to this list, with the stonewalling, the gaslighting, the deflecting, the projecting, the things like that. He was causing mayhem in my life. He really was. I mean, it was just crazy. It was just ridiculous. And at the particular time, I actually thought that, maybe it's me. Even after we divorced, I was like, well, maybe, I'll take some responsibility. Now, was I perfect? No. I'll take responsibility for what I did in that relationship, my parts. But what I'm saying is, even afterwards, when I would sit down, I would think, I was like, well, maybe he did that because he did say that if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have did A, B, and C. So maybe you start thinking to yourself, maybe I really did that. And that's the goal, to manipulate you, to get it off of them, to deflect, to project, deflect it off of them, to project it on someone else. You know, to stonewall, to shut down when they don't have nothing to say. They have no explanation, you know. And if you are in a relationship like that, you need to get out. You need to check the list. Check yourself. Make sure you're not doing them things. Because I have a habit. I'll shut down. I won't talk. Now, I'll take responsibility for my actions and I'll apologize. But I know on this list, I will shut down. I'll answer questions if I need to, you know, but I'm not going to try to manipulate you. I'm not going to put my responsibilities and my problems on someone else, but I will shut down. But I shut down normally when I've had enough and I've said enough and you're just not getting it. You know, you're just not getting it. You're continuing to come at me and put things on me, projecting, deflecting. So I just stop. So I don't think that's a sign of being a narcissist, because sometimes you're tired, you know. But if you see these signs in yourself or your loved ones, you need to step back and reflect, you know, and think. Now, let me think, because you don't want to be in a situation like that where you're being mentally manipulated and mentally abused, because at the end of the day, this is an abuse. It's an abuse, you know. So I'm going to leave it here. I am by no means an expert. I'm not calling anyone a narcissist. If you're looking at this video, you have these traits or someone have these traits, I'm not saying they're narcissists. This is just what we pulled up and what we found, and I wanted to discuss it, you know, because the relationship I was in, these signs were there. And I didn't know what they were called, but I would question it. I was like, why is he doing this? Why is this going on? Why is he always putting it on me? Why he always putting it on this person? You know, why he ain't talking? You know, why he, you know, doing this and doing that? But I didn't know what it was called. And today we started talking about it. We was like, let's pull it up. And that's what came up, a narcissist, you know? So anyway, I'm going to end it here. I hope you all had a marvelous Monday. And with that being said, I'm going to say vielen Dank. That's thank you very much in German. So vielen Dank for watching me. And choose, that's what? That's bye in German.